I guess one of the biggest talking points of the last few months around Copilot and around ChatGPT uh, has come from the advent of Google Gemini and now the advent of Apple Intelligence as well. There are so many AI assistants. One of the biggest questions, one of the biggest conversations we have around it is which one should I choose? Which is best? Uh, you know, which can do everything? I guess the short answer is none of them can do everything, but I thought it would be a really good opportunity for us to really break down a couple of the key workflows between the three major ones at the moment. So we're talking M365 Copilot, ChatGPT, and Google's Gemini. So I thought it would be really cool. Like I said, let's pick a couple of the most common workflows and really shoot out between the three of them. Like I said, this is Skynet without the scary bits. So a couple of important caveats that I need to make before I start going through the details. One is I'm trying my absolute best to be completely unbiased here. When I've fed through a prompt, I've used exactly the same prompt in the same way for each of these three platforms because I'm trying to get the most unbiased results from each of them. Second, I didn't cover all of the workflows, all of the workloads, all of the functionality. For those that have played with Copilot, especially, and for those that may be in Google Gemini, we could be here for days on end trying to dig into each of the functionalities, and working out what's better. What I've done is picked what I believe from experience, from conversation, what are the most common sort of workflows that we can compare the three to that are relevant to the three platforms. Third, I need to point out, sort of flowing on from that point, there's two that I haven't done that are pretty low-hanging fruit workflows, and that's using email. I haven't done any sort of prompting or comparison on email, primarily from the fact that I don't have hundreds of emails in my Google or in my Gmail. And to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't really willing to spend half a day uploading and sorting emails purely for the sake of seeing how it can sort through them. So I haven't done an email comparison. If anybody else has, I'd love to hear from you. I also haven't done a meetings comparison. Obviously, ChatGPT doesn't plug into any meeting platforms natively, but it would have been a shootout between Google and Copilot. And I didn't do that because, again, I don't have any meetings set up in Google Meet. So, in the interest of time and not spending sort of 6 months playing with all of these platforms, I've omitted those two, but I will get to them. And I guess moving forward from here in the new year, we'll be also comparing Apple Intelligence and Zoom AI as well. So we will build on this. This is just about giving that ground level. So starting off with the basics, really high level information. If we start with ChatGPT, for those that may not know much detail around this, this was developed by a company called OpenAI. This is all about natural language understanding and content generation. So ChatGPT really excels in understanding and producing and generating human-like text. So this makes it really effective for any sort of more conversational tasks or creative tasks. It's got contextual conversation capability, so it maintains its context over multiple exchanges. So as you go through the conversation, it'll always maintain its context to that sort of initial piece where you started, to try and make it more coherent and more relevant for your responses as you go through. There is multiple languages supported by ChatGPT, and there is integration with different applications via an API. So there is a ChatGPT or an OpenAI API that you can leverage for as a developer to integrate all of these capabilities into so many different applications, from chatbots to customer service tools to all of those different functionalities you can think. And I guess that's a really important point, that the integration is amazing if you're a developer. For end users who don't have any code or development knowledge, it's a chatbot. As we probably all know by now, there is the free version of ChatGPT, and it does go all the way up to $30 per user per month US if you wanted to buy some of the more premium features, which gives you more tokens in conversation and a couple of more features in there. Google Gemini developed by Google, obviously, hence the name. Look, to really break it down, if you were across any of this development about a year or so ago, this was called Bard, is now called Gemini. That's what it is. So Bard from Google's AI has just been rebranded. This isn't a new product, it's not a different product. So this is all about more advanced machine learning models. So Google Gemini leverages Google's machine learning technologies. So it's not based on AI's large language model or any sort of learning technologies. It is integrated with Google Workspace. So it does integrate with all of your Google apps like Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, really enhancing your productivity within that specific ecosystem. Again, it does have context-aware assistance, similar to ChatGPT. So Google Gemini does provide intelligent suggestions based on your activity and context. Remember that this is part of your Google world, right? So anything that you do within that Google ecosystem does help with that context. So any searches you perform, any work that you do. And it really excels with real-time data analysis and insights. So if you're playing with a lot of website stuff or search engine optimization, there is a lot of stuff in Gemini that can help you with that. There is the free version of Google Gemini available. It is just a chatbot, similar to ChatGPT. It does, again, go $30 per user per month for Gemini Advanced, which is what we're playing with today. Moving on to 365 Copilot. So this is the seamless integration with 365. So I guess the real standout feature here is that Copilot does integrate natively into many of the 365 apps that you use every day, and it is growing constantly. Similar to Gemini, there is the AI-powered content generation and editing and the context as well. So anything within your Office 365 world, it does retain that context and help you sort of build on and really grow that knowledge base for the responses that it gives. A lot of data-driven insights and recommendations come out of Copilot, again, because it's grounded in your data, in your tenant data, anything available in OneDrive and SharePoint. It can really help you make more informed decisions based on your work world and your ecosystem. Out of the three, I think it's got the widest and probably the most flexible functionality integration, which we'll see as we go through it. So this has got the most applications integrated. Look, you could argue the point that it's got the most integration because Office 365 compared to Google has more applications. The point is still that it does have more integration and I guess more seamless integration, as we'll see as we go through it, more flexible workflows, and there's more ways to use that assistant than the other two. From a user interface, a UI sort of perspective, look, there's nothing really too out of the ordinary here. The user interface across the three of them is quite similar. They all look and feel similar enough that you could work it out, right? It's not going to be too much of a struggle for you to understand where to type your prompt and how to get a response. They each keep what I'm calling like the look and feel of the parent UI. So Copilot looks and feels like most Microsoft apps look like. Google Gemini feels like Google. So they're all feeling pretty familiar, pretty simple, depending on what you're used to. In my opinion here, the biggest win is Copilot's ability to reference other documents with a / or reference people, reference meetings. So referencing other content with a /. In Gemini, you can reference with an @ mention. As we'll talk about, it's really buggy and it's not very user-friendly. It is quick, hit the @ mention and it's a similar function to /. I just haven't found it as good. Most importantly, in-app, Copilot can reference with the /. Google will reference with the @ symbol, but ChatGPT can't reference anything unless you upload it. So from a user interface point of view, I think much of a muchness. There's not really much of a difference between the three, and I don't think any would stand out than the others.